tracked the board games with the biggest gains in popularity, traffic, discussion, sales, and news this month, and have compiled the top 10 into this list of games with momentum. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deming filling in for Chaz, who will be filling in for me in On the Radar later this month when I'll be at PAX Unplugged. We tracked the popularity of 126 different board, card, and tabletop games this month, and one that made the 10th most progress up our chart is Wonderbook, a cooperative adventure game where the action takes place on an actual pop-up book. 1 to 4 players join forces through 6 consecutive scenarios, each consisting of a specific deck of pre-sorted cards that contain that scenario's rules, story, and unique challenges that the player will face. Each chapter explores a new part of the interactive 3D pop-up book that serves as the game board and reveals more about the world in which the varied adventures are set. Wonderbook is currently available for pre-orders from select retailers with an estimated ship date of mid-December. And while it's iffy that Wonderbook will arrive in time for Christmas, it's still a game that has us interested in seeing which of its adventures pop up next. And this episode's first sponsor is no stranger to surprises, though these usually turn out to be a dagger sunk into your back. It's a Game of Thrones Betwixt from Fantasy Flight Games. Manipulate the tangled politics of King's Landing and the unpredictable power struggle of a Game of Thrones Betwixt. In this fast-paced card game for 3 to 6 players, lead your house is one of 9 iconic characters from the Song of Ice and Fire series, conspiring for control. Use your influence to attract new allies and carefully navigate the other players' allegiances as you strive to have the most powerful small council in Westeros. But even the best laid plans will require some finesse, because some allies are shared between you and your neighbor, so beware. Even your closest companions have other loyalties. Just be wary of your own alliances. You never know when someone will stab you in the back or the stomach. Really, I mean, when it comes to stabbing, the Westeros aristocracy really isn't picky on location. Follow the link in this video's description to find more information and where a Game of Thrones Betwixt is available near you. The next game in this month's top 10 leaped up our charts. Leaped? It went a big way, even though it was only announced for release in 2022. It's Wayfarers of the South Tigress, the first in a new trilogy from Garphill Games, the company that previously published the tremendously popular West Kingdom and North Sea trilogies. Wayfarers of the South Tigress is set during 820 AD, where, as brave explorers, cartographers, and astronomers, players set off from Baghdad to map the surrounding land, waterways, and heavens above. Players must carefully manage their caravan of workers and equipment while reporting back regularly to journal their findings at the House of Wisdom. Wayfarers of the South Tigress, the first in this new set, is scheduled to be released in 2022, with Scholars of the South Tigress following in 2023 and Inventors of the South Tigress in 2024. So it sounds like Garphill Games is going to give players a lot to look forward to for quite some time to come. The publisher Splatterspellin has been generating a bit of buzz recently, not only with the recent re-release of their beloved 2012 economic endeavor, The Great Zimbabwe, but also with the announcement of their upcoming Horseless Carriage. This game takes place during the dawn of the era of the automobile, a time when no one quite knew yet what this new contraption would look like or what features would be essential. Oh look honey, this new model has brakes! And so, players enter the motor vehicular arena as aspiring industrialists, experimenting in order to determine which features the public will value when buying these new, expensive, and utterly unfamiliar horseless carriages. Fortunately, Splatterspellin's track record suggests that they are familiar with what their customers value and recently started accepting pre-orders for this game, which is currently scheduled to roll off the lot sometime next year. The momentum of the next highest climbing game on this month's list should come as no surprise to anyone familiar with the popularity of its source material. It's The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the adventure game, which recently completed a crowdfunding campaign that reached its financial goal in under 29 minutes, and then went on to earn over $1.2 million. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the adventure game, is a 1 to 4 player cooperative game of adventure and exploration across the embattled realm of Skyrim. As heroes embarking on epic quests, players work together to defeat their enemies and explore the vast expanse of the land. With the numerous choices of characters, gear, magic, and skills matched with the many decisions each player makes through their quests, the game is being designed to offer hundreds of hours of gameplay. The landscape of Skyrim can change during the game, impacting the course of the player's experience in subsequent chapters. Even so, the players can reset the game at any time, choose another character and playstyle, make different choices, and experience things differently. And those experiences are expected to begin next August, when the game is currently scheduled to start shipping to its backers. And if you're into backing things, then you can show your support to Watch It Played by subscribing to the channel, so you can be among the first to learn about new games coming up and how to play them. Among the game announcements, pre-orders, and crowdfunding campaigns filling this month's top 10, we find the Quacks of Quedlenberg, a push-your-luck bag-building game in which players are charlatans concocting various powerful potions that are prone to explosion. Who among us hasn't had a potion explode? In the game, each player has their own bag of ingredients from which they simultaneously draw chips to add to their boiling cauldrons. The higher the face value of the drawn chip, the more the potion they're producing will be worth. So players will need to push their luck in order to be the most profitable. But beware, when the luck runs out, the potion explodes, greatly reducing the rewards earned. The Quacks of Quedlenberg has had several newsworthy items recently, including its newest expansion, The Alchemists, which adds ingredients, abilities, components, and more. And the upcoming restock of the immensely popular Geek Up component upgrade for the game from Board Game Geek, which is, reportedly, scheduled to return to their retail racks before the end of the year. In our next spot, we find a nation in disarray as a war wages between the classes. The working class faces a dismantled welfare system. The capitalists are losing their hard-earned profits. The middle class is gradually fading, and the state is sinking into a deep deficit. So a Tuesday. Hegemony is an asymmetric politico-economic card-driven board game for 2 to 4 players that puts players in the role of one of a fictional state's socio-economic groups. Take the side of the working class and fight for social reforms, or stand with the corporations in the free market, or help the government try to keep it all together, or simply enforce your own agenda, no matter the cost to the country. While players have their own separate goals, they are all limited by a series of policies that affect most of their actions, like taxation, labor market, foreign trade, etc. Voting on those policies and using their influence to change them has a direct result on the game's direction. Hegemony is the first Kickstarter for hegemonic project games, which just completed its campaign, which raised around $600,000. Now the workers take control of the game's production in order to meet its expected ship date of November 2022.
This episode was made possible in part by Upper Deck, who is issuing a challenge to all good-hearted gamers across the globe to enter their Legendary Gamer contest, in which participants can win swag, gaming goodies, or 2 tickets to Gen Con 2022. And Upper Deck is in search of the ultimate Legendary Gamer, the most passionate of tabletop gamers who has made a positive impact in the gaming or Legendary communities. For complete rules and details, follow the link in this video's description to the contest page on Upper Deck's website, and enter the contest by either submitting a short written essay or even a video describing what makes you a Legendary Gamer. The contest runs through December 18th, 2021, so enter today and demonstrate your Legendary Gamer status to win Upper Deck's Legendary Gamer contest. And good luck.
Up next is the card drafting trick-taking board game Brian Boru, High King of Ireland, in which players strive to unite Ireland under their domain, securing control through might, cunning, and matrimony. Strategically joining forces to fend off Viking invaders, building monasteries to extend one's influence, and gathering support in towns and villages throughout the land are the first steps in ascending the aristocracy and becoming the new High King of all Ireland. The success of the historical Brian Boru rested on 4 pillars: his victories against the Vikings, the favor he managed to garner with the church, the alliances he forged through political marriages, and his extensive expertise in decorative napkin folding. And the first 3 of these 4 things became the foundation of the game, Brian Boru, with each pillar becoming a suit in the trick-taking that forms the core of the mechanisms. Brian Boru reached retail last month, and its overall good reception with players is reflected by its placement in this month's top 10. A game that first appeared on store shelves 32 years ago kicks off our top 3. It's the recently revised and re-released version of HeroQuest, originally published in 1989. When I first read that, I thought, oh, before I was born. And then I went, no, you were born before 1989. And that is how I knew I was getting older. Can't even remember the year I was born in. In HeroQuest, one player acts as a game master, revealing the maze-like dungeon piecemeal as the players wander. Up to 4 other players take on a character, wizard, elf, dwarf, or barbarian, and venture forth into dungeons on fantasy quests. The new version, which raised over $3.7 million towards its production last year through Hasbro's proprietary Hasbro Pulse crowdfunding system, was produced in cooperation with Games Workshop, who designed the miniatures and assisted with other production details, including world building and artwork used in the rule and scenario books. If you didn't get in on Hasbro's HeroQuest fundraising campaign, the game is now becoming available for pre-order in various retail locations, which means it may soon be available for others in the mood for some dungeon crawling nostalgia. This month's penultimate game is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, a card-driven, engine-building game set in the Terraforming Mars universe, in which players take the helm of interplanetary corporations with the goal of making Mars not only habitable, but also a profitable place to provide their goods and services, because Mars needs more scented candle stores. This standalone game, inspired by Terraforming Mars, is designed to feature a faster gameplay than its predecessor and over 200 beautifully illustrated cards. A pack of 17 additional cards were included as part of Ares Expedition's Kickstarter campaign. There are rumors that this set, which includes 6 corporation cards and 11 project cards, may become available for purchase from select locations within the next couple of months, with some online retailers now starting to accept pre-orders. A collector's edition of the game is also said to be on the way before the end of the year, reportedly sporting dual-layer player boards, cube storage trays, and a full-art box cover. So players looking to trick out their copy of the game may want to keep an eye out for these potential upcoming upgrades. And this month's mightiest mover-upperer on our list is Unsettled, a 2 to 4 player cooperative survival adventure set in the wondrous and unnerving fringes of uncharted space. In this game, there are no enemies and no combat, only an environment where every step, every breath, every particle around you could mean immediate, terrifying death. You know, like outside. Regardless, enemies are the least of your concerns, because in these catastrophic conditions, players must complete a series of tasks necessary to their continued survival. Perhaps the water reclamation system on their ship needs repair, or their food supplies are running low. Or maybe you need to venture into the ruthless vacuum of space to go buy a greeting card for Herbie before he realizes you forgot his birthday. As players explore the environment, encountering wild and unique opportunities along the way, the only thing they can count on is each other. Lose that trust, you'll also lose all hope of survival. And congratulations, you've survived to the end of this episode. But there's more games to discover by continuing on to 25 board games that are available right now, or one of Watch It Played's other entertaining and informative videos. I've been, and continue to be, Paula Deming. Bye, y'all.